All right, you guys, come and join me today as I go ahead and get my fruits together for this upcoming week. Listen, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jessica Harris, and I am your favorite author, podcast host, mom of three, and so much more. So let's dive in. For those of you who have been tuning into this channel, you know this channel is about keeping you encouraged, right? On your faith walk journey of love, life, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. Y'all, for those of you who also are super new here, I would definitely encourage you to hit that bell above, hit the like, hit the share button, right? And let's subscribe to the channel. Why not? All right. So, as I just mentioned earlier, you guys can see I am washing out one of my dishes right here. I got my strawberries on deck. I also got some blueberries to the side of this as well that you can't see just yet, but you will in just a moment. And for me, y'all, I'm excited because this is February 7th. And y'all, let me tell you right now, like, I am so proud of myself. This is the fourth week that I have remained diligent and consistent in my meal preps. Like 4 weeks in, y'all, this is my fourth week for 2025. And I'm super pumped because I started off this journey not honestly sure one how long this would be, like how long it would last, how long it would go. And let me tell you, I didn't sit there and just like, well, okay, so I kind of like just did it kind of in a sense out of nowhere, but there was a reason. Like there's always a reason as to why I wanted to go ahead and do this. And essentially, I had two reasons. So the first reason why in general I wanted to do like the meal prep part was because one, I wanted to cut down my cost of spending on meals that were from outside. Now, for me, I work in a heavily um populated area. I live well, okay, so let me back up. I work in an area that has a lot of costly foods is the best way that I'll word it as, right? Um, and I know I talk about like, oh, Chipotle's there. So I'm not trying to say like Chipotle is expensive, but at the same time, it's not $5, right? And even then, and here is my reason why I say that, right? So it's one thing to buy like Chipotle once a week. And that's just the example because that is on the cheaper end of the options that I have available. And that's being like real nice because all the other restaurants that are nearby, you're spending like $20 for a burger and fries. And that's like legit because they're not like fast food restaurants. These are like restaurants, high-end restaurants in a sense, right? Just because of the nature of where I'm at. Anyways, so number one, I wanted to cut down the cost because it didn't make sense to me that if I was buying meals for like both lunch and dinner, I would be spending, technically speaking, right, anywhere from like 10, 12, maybe like 15 for like one transaction, like another 15 for like another transaction, and then maybe like another $8 later, right? So that was like that was like what, $38 like in a day? Just because of how busy my days were and how I was like just always up and about. And that's just for one day, right? So if you imagine like 30 and you're doing that over and over and over, y'all, that's a lot. And I say it's a lot because if I think about the money spent outside for those single transactions, right? Those single meals, bruh, I could have been buying like real food, having real meals, and having it make sense and last. So that was my perspective on it, right? That I didn't just want to cut cost, but I wanted to also buy foods that were healthier and foods that were also that I could actually keep, m- having, right? So if I bought like a bag of rice, for example, like that bag is not gonna last day one and day two. That bag's gonna last a minute, right? So that's just like the example. The same thing with like fish, the same thing with like chicken, right? If you buy like chicken, if you're buying fish or something like that, nine times out of 10, you're buying it, but you're able to make it last, for like a few days and things of that nature, depending, right? If it's just for you, if it's for a group, like whatever the case is. But that's the reason why I wanted to really cut down. Those are the two reasons. One, because I wanted healthier options. Two, because I wanted to cut down the cost and I wanted to see what I could do differently for me and for my body. Because I know if I'm going to Chipotle, y'all, I'm getting like all the fixings, right? Like I'm getting the guac, I'm getting the sour cream, I'm getting the cheese, I'm getting the lettuce, I'm getting the salsa. Like I want that burrito to be piled up high. Like I want it to reach the sky, right? And I'm using that again as the example, but that's also like real story, right? So that's one side of things. But then I started thinking to myself and was like, girl, what if you would just, prep your stuff a little differently. So before I started off with like actual prepping meals, I actually switched off and started working on snacks. And here's why. Because not only was I finding myself, spending on like the meals and stuff like that, but I was snacking a lot throughout the day. And like I said, my days were really long at this time. They were really just busy. I was going almost like sun up to sundown with working all the time. So I knew that I needed food for fuel, right? But I wasn't eating the right stuff. Like I was eating Pringles, I was having Tostitos, I was having chips and salsa, I was having Doritos. Like y'all, was a whole mess because it was like I just need something salty or I need something sweet or I need something, cheesy, like just for taste and stuff. And I realized, like, okay, you're doing this out of a habit, right? You're doing this because this is comfort for you. You've done this before, right? When I would have like big exams or papers that I would need to write for school and stuff like that. One of the first things I would do would be like grabbing a snack tray so I could have a snack nearby so I could, kind of chomp and work on the computer at the same time. And those particular habits I could see starting to come in when I was working at this job. And I was like, all right, I see old habits trying to come in places where I know they no longer have access or authority. And I say that because there was a period of time in my life where I had an unhealthy relationship with food. I would I would correlate, there we go, food and emotions. So I remember just having to go through this journey with God and really being able to separate those two. So I knew that there was an area there that was trying to rear up, and I'm like, no, not by a long shot, bruh. You ain't got nothing over here. So instead, I decided to implement, better habits, right? Better foods. And what did I do? I did Nutri-Grain bars. I did granola bars. I did trail mixes and stuff like that. And I started to switch out the chips for trail mix, the chips, for granola bars. And at first, I was overindulging on the granola bars, and I had to say, okay, Jess, you don't need a whole box, right? You just need one, or maybe you just need two, right? One for the beginning of a shift, one for the end of a shift. So there was things that I had to look at as, okay, you're trying to overcompensate because you maybe have not had like a actual meal, a few hours ago because you were in a rush. But now that you're here, your body's super hungry and you're about to eat the whole box and you don't need to. So that's where it went from me going from eating outside, transitioning to picking out better snacks, to saying, okay, I've chosen some healthier snack options. I've chosen the ones that make sense for my shifts and throughout my days for the week. Now, let me go backwards for a moment and work on healthier meals. And that's literally what I ended up doing. I ended up the first week I had bought salmon and I had to like salmon, rice, and vegetables. And that was, like, what I did for a whole week when I was at work. And it worked out perfect because I would have, like, my salmon, my rice, I would have my and I did brown rice, and I had my vegetables, and then I had my snacks in between. And don't play, there were some days where I was a little bit hungrier, So I'm like, "Okay, I'm a little bit more hungry today," so I would, not gonna lie, take a little piece of my salmon that was for the next day and have that day, and then I would know, like, "Okay, Jess, tomorrow you need to make sure that you have something extra, right, to come with this meal. So whether that was having extra vegetables or adding extra fruit, I would do something like that because I knew then that there would be a little bit of a shift essentially when it came to the way that I was going to eat that food. And I was glad that I was able to see that part because it gave me an idea to understand how busy my days were. And it also helped me to understand, like, okay, when you're up in the morning, you may not feel as hungry just yet, but try to have more water, right? Try to have more this. And I'm sharing the water part also here because I don't want y'all thinking like, well, girl, add more water and that'll help. So, yes, adding water does help. It does help curb appetites. It does help to regulate the body. So, I definitely have been adding water. And not only that, but in general, I haven't been a big juice drinker or a big soda drinker in the last couple of years. So even if I do have juice here and there, I'm literally having it like once in a while. I have a lot of seltzer water, especially at work because they have a seltzer machine. So I just be on the bubbly from that. And then I have just regular water and, coffee here and there type of thing. And the coffee is more so to stay awake, not necessarily something that I'm having because I like want to have coffee. So, anyways, my first week I did it with salmon. The second week I was able to do it with tilapia. My third week, I forget what I did my 3rd week. I don't remember what I did my 3rd week, y'all. I know I did something because my 3rd week was last week. So I'm like, I did something my 3rd week. Oh, I did salad. And then now I'm going into my 4th week and I'm doing more salad. So yes, that is what I did. So I'm really excited because during my 3rd week, I started taking away the trail mixes and taking away the granola bars, and I actually started buying more fruit. Like you can see here, the strawberries and the blueberries. So I'll do a lot of strawberries, blueberries. I've done raspberries. I've done bananas. I've done watermelon. Yes, y'all, I love me some watermelon. And that honestly has been able to help me out a lot with curbing my appetite, making me feel full, giving me what my body needs, and really just being able to enjoy this journey. So that is my update on how my 4 weeks of meal planning has been going. That is where I'm at right now on this journey. And I'm just excited because it's working. Like it's legit working, y'all. So if you have questions, or better yet, if you have tips on prepping, definitely drop those in the comments for me. I'm looking for more things to add, looking for more things to do, and I can't wait to share with you guys what I do next week. So peace and blessings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out the links below, and have a great day.